Trump does see the immense pressure that working people are under. But his answer to that pressure is an America that operates on a logic of every man for himself. And I do say every man for himself because he sure doesn't believe in women's rights. But now that Trump is back in power, we can see it clear as day. He's handed the keys of this country to Elon Musk and is selling off the United States for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, these billionaires and corporations and lobbying industries will back his campaigns and fund them as well as those of his allies. They scratch his back and he scratches theirs, and the rest of us get left behind. And I'll tell you, the clever thing about what these guys do is that they sell working people like you and me on the idea that we're just one step out of being in that club too. That you're just a little bit away from being one of them.
Elon Musk, much like his co-president Donald Trump, is a little whiny baby. It is so easy to get under his skin and to live rent-free in his mind. But no one does it like AOC, who Elon is constantly, furiously tweeting at because she is doing the best job calling him out. And of course, that drives him crazy. The latest example of it may be the most embarrassing for Elon, as AOC just bullied him on his own platform. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into this latest example, I want to see one that really got Elon upset and his buddy Joe Rogan when AOC just called Elon what he is, stupid.
This other thing about Elon. Elon's going to steal everybody's money. He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. I'm telling you, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's a super genius that's been fucked with, okay? And when you've been fucked with by these nitwits that hide behind three-letter agencies, and you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and he helps Donald Trump get into office, and he goes, I want to find out what kind of corruption is really around. Well, you fucked up and picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum, because he's gonna hunt you down. He's gonna find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really fucking corrupt and goofy systems and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
Yeah, well, AOC is the one that says he's the most unintelligent person she's ever met.
Did she really say that?
She really said that.
Wow, I want to meet her friends. They're probably cool. Imagine the conversation you'd have with her friends. If he's the most unintelligent person she's ever met, wow, her friends must be amazing. I want to go to one of those parties. It's probably just like fascinating person after fascinating person.
Now, I wanted to start with that clip of Rogan first because I think it's important to call out this defense we see from right-wingers, that Elon has so much money. He's just a volunteer. He's helping out when that couldn't be further from the truth. Do you think billionaires are billionaires because they're not greedy? That's why they have all their wealth, because they hoard it and refuse to pay their fair share or help anyone but themselves. Elon Musk is actively seeking out new contracts with the government, which he doesn't deserve and can't earn on his own, more millions and billions of dollars every single day, because the $8 million he already gets is not enough. And AOC, of course, was calling this all out on her tour with Bernie Sanders, and it's what led to a tantrum from Elon on Twitter. But before we check that out, I want to see the clip that led him to get so angry.
Donald Trump does see the immense pressure that working people are under. But his answer to that pressure is an America that operates on a logic of every man for himself. And I do say every man for himself because he sure doesn't believe in women's rights. But now that Trump is back in power, we can see it clear as day. He's handed the keys of this country to Elon Musk and is selling off the United States for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, these billionaires and corporations and lobbying industries will back his campaigns and fund them as well as those of his allies. They scratch his back and he scratches theirs, and the rest of us get left behind. And I'll tell you, the clever thing about what these guys do is that they sell working people like you and me on the idea that we're just one step out of being in that club too. That you're just a little bit away from being one of them. Grind set mindset, right? Except those kinds of spoils that they are rolling in are not earned. They aren't working for those billions of dollars. They're stealing them. They're stealing them from you and you and you and your mom and your grandparents and all of us. Just look at what Elon and Trump are doing to our health care, to our veterans' benefits, and to Social Security. They are slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime paying for.
So just a perfect takedown from AOC. And I love the number of people that are being mobilized at these rallies. I saw someone say that it is an important start, an important bit of recognition for folks like us to see that there are other people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people in this fight with us. People who want to get out on the streets, who want to protest, who want to use their voice, who understand we still do have agency. And we see AOC turning that agency on, and it's got Elon pretty furious. He was tweeting about it right here, after a photo was posted of the over 36, shown people at the Denver rally that AOC and Bernie Sanders held. Elon Musk wrote, "The Dems just move around the same group of paid protesters," alleging it wasn't a real crowd. AOC then responded to Elon, writing, "Someone's butt hurt. At the very least, you could find a new, more interesting conspiracy theory to peddle." I tweeted this, and it is 100% true. I think Trump and Elon are especially mad at this anti-oligarchy tour because they're drawing bigger crowds than Donald Trump could, even at the end of his campaign. Remember the dwindling crowds? People leaving early or just not even showing up at all? That is now what Donald Trump has to confront as AOC and Bernie absolutely humiliate him out there. I could not love it more. And the call to action that they are bringing is so incredibly important. It's focusing the narrative exactly where it needs to be, that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are trying to take away the most essential programs from you and me to write the biggest tax cut imaginable for their billionaire buddies and, of course, themselves. And part of that is their attack on Social Security, which we saw Congressman John Larson go absolutely mega viral for calling out just a few short weeks ago. But he's back at it again on the House floor. So how could we not watch this great clip? Let's take a look.
Yet, Mr. Speaker, at the same time, we see that Mr. Musk has been charged by the President of the United States to cut $2 trillion from the budget. And Mr. Musk has made no bones about the fact that he plans to privatize Social Security, Medicare, amongst others. Social Security, Medicare, and defense, as a number of people in the audience know, makes up more than 70% of the budget. He's been instructed to find $2 trillion. Coincidentally, that's just about how much Trump's tax cut for the wealthiest 1% is, $2 trillion. Where will it come from, Mr. Speaker? Obviously, he has his designs on Social Security, the only one of those entities, defense, Medicare, and Medicaid, that has a trust fund of $2.7 trillion, all of hard-working people's money. It might surprise you, Mr. Speaker, to know that in your district you have over 183,000 Social Security recipients, over 13,000 who are disabled, 7,000 plus children, 8,000 widows, 4,000 spouses. But here's the critical thing, that Republicans should wake up in this time of inflation. Your district, and every district on average, by the way, receives more than $200 million monthly for its Social Security recipients. Your district, Mr. Speaker, receives $354 million. That hasn't been changed since 1971. People in America should be outraged by the fact that Congress has not fulfilled its responsibility to act on behalf of its citizens. Social Security is the #1 insurance program in the country, serving over 70 million people. 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security, and Congress continues to ignore them and ignore their needs. Shamefully, more than 5 million of our fellow Americans get below poverty level checks from the wealthiest nation in the world and the most successful insurance program because of congressional inaction. Most of those 5 million are women. And among those, most of them are women of color. People have been taxed on their Social Security when they continue to work after retirement, and that is false as well. We've had a proposal, Mr. Chairman, to correct all of that, to change it, and oh, by the way, pay for it. And how do we do that, Mr. Chairman? Very simple. We lift the cap on people who pay nothing or very little or are through paying the first day and second day of January. Lifting the cap on people, as President Biden proposed, over 400,000, will provide us the benefits and the solvency that Social Security needs. Why is it that hardworking people in this gallery should pay into a system all their lives and get a benefit, and yet billionaires can be excluded and don't have to pay in the same amount, or some totally circumvent the law altogether and pay nothing? It's long overdue, Mr. Chairman, don't you agree, for a vote to take place for all the citizens in your district, the more than $300 million that comes in. Imagine what that does to the local economy in your district, how it will help out the local grocery store, the pharmacy, and most importantly, the individual families in that region. Stand up, Mr. Speaker, and Republicans. Join us in enhancing Social Security.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk continue to refer to Social Security as a Ponzi scheme or an entitlement, and they choose those words very carefully. Social Security is not an entitlement. You paid into it, you earned it, it's yours. It's ours. We pay in, we contribute, and we want to make sure that people do not fall into poverty at the end of their lives and don't have to work till they're 80 years old in the richest country in America. I talked about this on a recent podcast episode that I did with a great group of guys, and I'm going to share that show. But we have seen the productivity of workers rise exponentially over the past decades in America. And where are the wages to follow it? They're just not keeping up. They're not even close. But what we do see explode is CEO pay, executive exit packages, and huge stock buybacks from Meta. Google, of course, Tesla, which, that stock is pretty low right now, and Amazon. The rich are only getting richer at our expense, and now they want to take away Social Security. It's absolute nonsense. We cannot allow it to happen. We've got to call it out. We've got to follow the lead of Bernie, AOC, and John Larson. That's what we're doing on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments.